Hi guys, welcome to the Mystery Angels. So I'm going to ask this question now, right? And I've been listening now for quite a long while since Paul Summer's been missing, and nobody's asked this question yet. So I'm going to ask it, and let's see what you guys say. So here we go. Are you ready? If someone was stalking the house out, and Candy said the boys are at home cleaning, which I believe her, and reason being is because either that day or the day after they were getting CPS to come down, and they said, you've got to clean this house up, clean this act up, it's too dangerous for the children. That's why they probably got milk and some groceries in, so she can say, look, we've got groceries in and food, right? So I do believe she would have kept the boys home and took Summer away because Summer's only 5 and she's very lively and flamboyant and just wanted to play. And she probably would have screamed if the boys had picked the toys up, put them in black bags and thrown them down the stairs in the basement, right? Because that's what they do, don't they, hoarders? They throw things down and stuff like that. So let's just say, for instance, that Don did phone her and say there's a man, because the eldest boy phoned Don up and said, Daddy, there's a man walking around our property. This is right? Just let's say that. Right? Then either Don should have said, look, I can't leave work, get home as quickly as you can. The boys are on their own and there's a guy stalking. So let me ask you a question. Wouldn't it be more plausible to take them 3 boys out when there was no one else in the house? And Candy said they were sleeping. So if someone was actually going to kidnap anyone, it would have been either one of the boys or it would have been all 3. Surely. Because if someone was stalking the area, they would have seen that both parents were out. The grandparent was out. There was no one on the property except 3 vulnerable boys. Dogs that don't bark or anything. If they're paedophiles and opportunists, that's where they would have gone. They would have took them. Right? Because some of the paedophiles on there are for young boys. So if that was going to happen, then they would have attacked the house. They would have attacked the boys because they weren't going to steal from him, was they? They haven't got nothing to steal. So it doesn't make sense. If there was a paedophile on the property and someone who was a kiddly fiddler, because they'd said he was a kiddly fiddler, they didn't say, H didn't say, oh, he said he was going to touch the kids. He didn't say, oh, they're going to go after a female or male. So if that happened, they would have gone straight for the boys. The boys were on their own. And now the dad says they weren't with him at work. It was only H who said that. So Candy said they were at home, all 3 boys cleaning up. Then she changed it and said they were sleeping or watching telly. So we know what young lads are like. They're sleeping, they've got the TV on loud, they can't hear. There's nothing stopping someone coming in and taking them down. So why would they wait? See, why would they kidnap a child not knowing if that child was going to be there or not? They didn't know where Candice was going because it wasn't her usual drive, right? It was very unusual for her to go to H's house. It was very unusual for them to go swimming on that day. It was very unusual for them to go to the hospital. She'd gone out early, so it was 8 o'clock. So she didn't get back till 4 o'clock. That meant she left the boys a long time on their own. So an opportunist isn't going to sit there and wait for adults to come and watch him because they haven't got a routine. Right? So they would have gone up there, seen 3 kids on their own watching TV and thought, oh, boom. And it would have been a lot easier than taking Summer. A lot easier. Because of 3 reasons. One, everybody was home. And these type of people won't go near crowds because if they get caught, they'll get beaten. And they've got guns on the property. It's America, remember? So they're going to know there's guns on the properties and stuff, right? So 9 out of 10 times, it's in an area where you go hunting with bears and stuff. So they're going to know there's a gun on the property. And if an adult's going to be there, an adult's going to have a gun and probably kill him. Number two, if Candice and the mother was there and the boys and Summer and the dogs, there's no chance they would have taken her. No chance. How would they be able to? Because they'll be scared that someone will come out at any second. You've got 3 young boys in there who could come out and play football any second. You've got a mother that was walking in and out of the trailer to the house, back to the trailer to the house. He didn't know what they were doing. They were planting outside. So if the person was, if the person was standing there to kidnap Summer, they would have had to wait and wait and wait and wait until they saw Summer. But they're saying she was kidnapped from the basement. How the guy's going to see in the basement that she's on her own? And how does he convince her to come out without the dogs barking, the boys hearing, and the mother right there in the trailer? She said it was only 2 minutes. It's an opportunist. I've seen cases where an opportunist gets in the van, sees a kid on a bike, and boom, 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 they're gone. I've seen it. But again, it's like when they get caught, it's like, well, how did you know this girl? Well, I didn't. She was just there and I took her quick. There was no one around. Do you see what I'm saying? They grab them, drag them and go. That's their main thing to do, right? They have to... The police tell me, Chip, don't have a routine. Or because I'm autistic, I have to have a routine. And that's why autistic people are vulnerable, right? Because we're known for our routines. We're also known. If you watch us, you can bet your bottom dollar we eat the same food, we follow the same patterns, we do the same thing. And even if we're sick or not sick, and then if it's different, there's something wrong, right? And we get in a temper. Like especially me, I get in a temper. Like if you do something and you change my routine, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to get sick. I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be agitated. So it's just not plausible for someone to come out into the middle of nowhere, not know if this property's got cameras up. And even if you knew the family, and even if you only lived down the road and you knew the family, you would also know that they were a bit of ruffians. So they'll be out in, don't have a routine. They start drinking. If they knew the family, they'd know that Candice and the husband would come home from work. They would eat, get drunk, and then go to bed. So they could have sneaked in and took her at bedtime, and it would have been safer than doing it at that time. It's impossible. And to be fair, one of my mates in prison got done for shooting this man for raping his daughter, his 6-month-old daughter and his wife, right? And now he's doing the rest of his life in prison for going after the guy, which is fair enough. He accepts that. He murdered someone, but he got his justice. And he didn't want to live without his wife and child anyway. So, and I asked him. So he asked a predator, because I wanted to do an interview with a predator. So I've been trying to get hold. I'm going to try and get hold and ask people if I could speak to a predator, a very, very good predator that hadn't been caught for ages. I wanted to speak to them to see what they think. Would they chance? But I want to go live with one from the prison. So that's my plan for this channel, is to go live with a predator. But I have to get prepared for it mentally, physically and emotionally, because I hate them with everything I've got. And I just can't face them. It makes me physically sick. And I just want to, well, all I'm going to say is, because of YouTube watching, is it wouldn't be pretty. So that's what I'm hoping for. So till then, I asked my friend to ask him. So he said, you're going to get me in trouble because, like, we don't talk to people like that. And I goes, I get that. But it's important. It's important for me to know, like, would they do it? So he said, all right. So I sent him the pictures of the house and the area and stuff like that, and the video footage of YouTubers. They were allowed to watch some YouTube stuff. They've got phones in there. I don't know why. And so they watched it, and he said, no chance. So he phoned me up and he said, Chip, he said, no chance. And I said, why? And he said, Chip, if the boys were in there on their own and Candice went out early, if the mum went out early with all the adults and a young child, and there was 3 boys alone, left alone, they would have gone after them 3 boys, and as quickly as they could, and got away. And he said, oh, right. And he said, number 2, because there's adults on the property and it's America, the thing that they would be frightened, because they are cowards, the things they'll be frightened of most is if they got caught trying and someone screamed, or the boys had just come out and bumped into him or anything like that, that the parents on that property, the adults on that property, would have a gun and shoot at them. So it said it's impossible. They wouldn't do it. And even if they were desperate and they haven't been able to get a child for ages, he said they just wouldn't. It just wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't. But nobody seems to be asking. This Chris guy says, oh, if you put anything down or use my thing on the interview with Candice, I'll sue you. Go kiss my ass. The more and more people talk about this, the more and more spread it around the world it is, the more and more likely they'll be found. She'll be found. And Summer's special. Okay? There's loads of kids going missing, but there was something about Summer. There was a reason for Summer. And I think the reason is that if you look at Summer and her auntie, they look alike, right? And I think that Summer was put there to set this family on the straight and narrow. Now, everyone's saying, well, do you believe Candice did it? Do you believe she didn't do it? I had 2 theories on my last video. You've seen it. My first theory was that Summer went in the house to play with her toys, went up to her bedroom and said, where's my toys? And they went, it's down in the basement. So she's gone down there to play with her toys and took them out of the bag. Candice has got pissed off and angry. Now, don't forget, this is the time they start drinking. So they said they start drinking about 5 o'clock. So this was the time that they started drinking, right? So she's drinking for about an hour because it was like 6 something. So she's probably gone down thinking tomorrow morning the care workers are coming. That's the CPS are coming. That's why they wanted to plant a few bits of flowers to make it look, the trailer look a bit prettier, clean up a little bit, because a lot of people are saying it's a lot cleaner than what it was. So obviously they're working at cleaning it. So, and I think Candice lost her temper. And I think she went too far. So either she went too far and did something and Summer stopped breathing because of the accident before and she was weak already, or she frightened Summer and hurt Summer so much that Summer thought the monsters in the... She was safer with the snakes and the bears and the monsters in the woods than she was with the mum. She was a very smart little girl and she was very clued up on what was going on, right? And she would have ran out. Now, Candy said she hasn't had no shoes on, which is fair enough. Now, people are saying, oh, since they've seen the interview with Candice, they're now believing her. Listen, guys, you can tell some truths, right? And it makes sense. But be careful. Because remember, these are abusers. Regardless whether it's physical, mental or emotional. Remember, Candice is the mother of 4 children whose husband beats on them all. Her being the mother should have left his arse. Also remember, right, yes, she's a victim, but She should have been a mum and be strong enough. Ask yourselves this. Look yourselves in the mirror and say to yourselves, if my partner, whether it's male or female, doesn't matter. If my partner was endangering my children, beating them up and beating me up, and then attacked my children, would I stay with them? Once I had the option, it's not like Candice didn't have the option. She had the option to get him removed. She called the police. So she wasn't scared to call the police. And it was all because of this guy, this Mexican guy, that she conveniently forgot his name. That Ricardo guy, she conveniently forgot his name. But that was what the big argument was about. He thought Candice was sleeping with him. And I wonder who put that in his head. So, just be aware. But number two, I did say in the first interview with H, he's going to get the blame for this. They're going to try and pin it all on him. And Candice, without doing it, is doing it. People are saying, oh, she didn't throw him under the bus like he threw her under the bus. He's a 15-year-old boy with ADHD, so he's bound to have some form of autism and learning difficulties, right? Why would she contact him after a year of being blocked and a year of not speaking to him? But she says he contacted her when she was at the hospital with the mum waiting. So where did Summer get her swimming costume from? Did she go back home to pick up the stuff? She didn't say that. And why isn't Summer got a towel? And if it wasn't planned, then why didn't he go to H? Can I borrow a towel for Summer, please? Because she hasn't got a towel. Because H obviously had a towel because he wasn't wet. Or was he? Because it wasn't planned. All of a sudden, the mother is in so much pain that she's in A&E for hours. In so much pain with her knee. And they give her very strong painkillers, right? The medication. I'm on strong painkiller medications because of my condition. So I can move and breathe. Because otherwise, I'd be in chronic pain. I wouldn't be able, I'd die. Right? And it still doesn't take away horrific pain. It doesn't. It just makes it bearable. And the one thing everyone knows, if you've had a knee injury or a leg injury or a foot injury, the aching if you sit too much or stand up too much. But yet, they said, from when Candice Carr is, if you look at the interview, they walked. And her mum had told to Candice. Candice said, I was walking my mum when she was on her stick. And so she wouldn't fall. She was leaning on me. And we were walking down and Summer was ahead of us. She was very clear on that. There's no way, if you've got a false knee and it's been twisted and damaged and you've just had it strapped and you just had painkillers, there's no way you would be able to walk down there without sweating, being in pain and in tears. No way. No chance. Because I do it, and I'm on a farm and I do it. When I walk up and down a hill, when I fractured my knee and it popped out, although they popped it back in and strapped it up, I was fine if I had walked on a level. But as soon as I tipped anywhere, the pain was horrific and sharp. And I couldn't cope. And I used to sweat with it and everything. They said she was picking flowers. And she said, no, you can't pick flowers, Mum. So where did they get the flowers from then? It'd be interesting to find out if they the police go down and actually look at the flowers to see, did they go and buy flowers? Because Candice said, I told me mum, no, I'm not picking them flowers because I'm not going to get done for it because it's against the law to pick wildflowers. So, did they stop off at a flower shop? How did they get the flowers planted? Where did they get the flowers from? Nobody's asking them questions. And I really, especially this guy, Chris guy, surely to God, he should be asking questions like, well, what flowers did you plant? Where did you plant them? How did you get them? Were they bulbs? Did you stop off at a shop? Did you take them from the wild? What happened? Now, Donald Wells Summer's dad, has said on umpteen occasions, there's been times, and so has the neighbours, there's been times where Candy's got really angry at Summer because Summer, every time she tried to plant flowers and that, when they come up and flower, Summer would pull the flowers and would pull them from the roots because she didn't understand. She was 5, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And 4 years old and that. And apparently she would kick her and start slapping her and stuff like that. Now, in my last video, if you go and look, I showed you some pictures of cigarette burns on the hands. Guys, trust me when I say, although I'm not a doctor expert, I am an expert of abuse because I was that child, okay? And that's exactly the way your hand goes when you've got cigarette burns on your hand. Your hand swells because it's painful, right? On top of that, they used to hold me down and shave my head for punishment. Now you're going to look like the boys. So, Candice did the interview, right? Did not Candice in the first interview say very clearly, oh, Summer wanted a head shave because she wanted to be like the boys because she's a tomboy? Did she not say that in the first interview? And yet, in the interview with Chris, she was saying, oh, you know what she's like? She's a girly girl. She likes to wear, like, you know, the dresses and the hairbands and the... Sorry, a tomboy doesn't like wearing dresses for a start. They like wearing shorts or trousers for a start. Number 2, they will not wear a dress. I know because I was a tomboy. They will not wear a dress. Number 3, they wouldn't be into fairies and horses and they'll be into climbing trees and hunting and building and just because she got mucky, she enjoyed Mother Nature. Have you ever been so hot and sticky and it rains and you've just gone out in the rain to say, oh, thank God it's cooled the system down? That's what Summer did. But every time I saw Summer, she was always in a girly dress. She always wore girly stuff. She always acted girly. I was brought up with 3 brothers. There was 4 of us, and I was brought up with 3 brothers. And trust me, I was more tomboys than they were. I was playing football and everything while they were sitting reading and stuff like that. But you catch me wearing a necklace or jewellery or headband or anything like that. Yeah, right. Yeah, no one would dare put any on me like that. I would want to be in scruffs because I play football, trackies, scruffs, climb trees. Summer's not like that. Summer like little fluffy toys and stuff. When I was 5 years old, Mum said I grabbed a football and I was playing with sticks and smacking things and stuff like that and shooting with stones at 5 years old because I was a tomboy. Summer was a girly girl. And then Candice admitted it. So look in the first interview when she said, oh, she's like me, she's a tomboy. She even tried to shave her own head. Why would she get the shavers? You know full well, I've got kids, you got kids? You know full well, right, that you put things like that up high, like razors, shavers, stuff, or you put it in a lock thing. You do not allow your child to have access to shavers because whether they want their haircut or not, they would shave each other's off or they would use scissors and run around and cut hurt themselves, right? Come on. I mean, it's basic one-on-one parenting. And I'm autistic, man, for God's sake, right? So it's no excuse. But in Candy's first interview, she was very clear. She's a tomboy like me and she just wanted her head shaved. In the second one, she says, oh, she's a girly girl. You know what she's like? She likes all the dresses and she likes to wear the hairbands and she likes to... And they said very clearly, they brought her loads of dresses. They've spent £60 on her, $60 on her, getting her girly clothes, getting some hair stuff and stuff like that 2 weeks previous. And then they show pictures of Summer with her long hair wearing it. Then all of a sudden, Summer's got her head shaved. Now everyone's saying it might be knits. Well, why didn't she just say that? Because it would be easily corroborated by the school. Right? The school would write letters home. We all know because we get the letters, them pink forms. Your child has got knits. You need treatment. You don't need to shave the heads. You have treatments. You shave the head for extremeness. You wash the bedding, you throw the bedding out, or you wash the bedding, you wash the child's hair in the stuff, you leave it in, boom, done, you brush it out, you comb all the knits and the knit eggs out. That's been done for since I was a kid. And even in the homes. Sometimes in the homes they would grab the girls that had long hair and shave their heads off because it was easier and it was cheaper than buying all that chemical stuff. It was easier. So they used to just shave us all. Lighten that. And the older kids used to get their private parts shaved if they were teenagers. You know what I mean, don't you? Can't say because of YouTube, but yeah. So that's what they used to do. So we used to all have skinheads and stuff like that to stop the... But then so did the concentration camps, right? So Candice made it very clear with this Chris guy who he said she was telling the truth. So which truth? Was she telling the truth in the first interview where the body language supposedly experts said they look honest enough? Or the second interview where Chris says, who's a very smart man, by the way, don't underestimate what he's doing. He's very smart. It's what she said to Chris, the truth. And is he saying she was truthful then? Which is that Summer wasn't a tomboy, she actually was a girly girl. Which if you look at the clothes Summer wear, it was always girly and pink, and tomboys don't wear stuff like that. We just wear rough clothes to go out and play football in. You know, trainers, stuff like that. The girl loved to be barefoot. And I've seen a load of people who love nature, love Mother Nature and that, to feel the grass under their feet. Have you ever done that where you've just gone out in the middle of like summer morning when it's crisp and the grass wet and just take your shoes and socks off and walk across, or late of night? Of course. We've all done it because we feel connected to the earth. And like I said, Summer is a special child. Out of all the children that go missing, Summer took the hearts of the nation straight away because she was meant to be. She's the light, right? She was going to be something. She's going to do something in the world. She'll be reborn back, unfortunately. She was given as a gift to this family, right? And people say you don't deserve her, but they needed help. He was trying to be a better person. Do I believe that had anything to do with it? No. And to tell you the truth, if Candice turned around and said I got angry with her and I killed her, he would have killed Candice. Because there's one thing I can say, although it isn't the love we think that should be shown towards Summer, he still believed in his mind and his heart that he loved Summer. And everyone says, oh, picture tells 1,000 words. Yeah, but also tells lies. Look at the children that were supposed to be smiling. It's fake. You can tell by the way the ears go up, the eyebrows. It's not real, the eyes. Because the eyes smile as well. When you're happy, your eyes smile. When you fake it, it stays the same, see? So look at the pictures closely. Also, if you look at the picture of Summer in that car, when they took the picture supposedly on the day Summer was asleep, half her eye was open. And she looked down. Now, when my kids used to sleep, because I used to sleep with my eyes open, and when the kids used to sleep with their eyes open, we used to sleep with the eyes open wide. Because my wife used to turn around and go, oh, Jesus, Chip, are you all right? And I'd be like still and just open-eyed asleep. And she'd be like, Chip, now wake up. What were you doing? Waking me up. And he'd be like, you had your eyes wide open. And then she took a picture and my eyes were wide open, but I was asleep. But I've never had it where one's really shut and the other one's like that. Never. And a child who's riding in a car that's bumpy on a bumpy road, she says they were, 2 minutes out. So coming up that road, it would have been bumpy. She would have moved. The bottles would have moved. She would have banged and banged against the bottles. It would have been uncomfortable. There's no way she could have been still. So her head was, when they're taking the photograph, should have been blurred or moved a little bit or something, surely. Because in it, have you ever tried to sleep on a train or anything like that and it moves and your head's going, you're going, Jesus. And you have to sort of like put something soft underneath you to be able to sleep so you can go with it so it doesn't keep banging your head. Right, well, she was on bottles, hardcore milk bottles. So her head would have been going if they were driving, right? And you're saying, oh yeah, but it's a still photograph. Yeah, but how many times do you have to take a photograph of a moving person? You will see the movement, right? The shadow, the movement, wouldn't you? Dead or alive, they would move. But for some reason, it was like the car was still. She was lied like this on the bottles, very still. But if it was a car moving, it would move, which means you would get some kind of like distortion and blurriness somewhere around each picture, right? Now, she said she took a video of Summer first instead of a picture because she had Summer's hands were up like that, right? Well, if that's true, you imagine you're lying there, your hands up, and you think, oh, they're tired. Look where it flops. Exactly down there. But if you're in the car and it's doing that, and you're going up a bumpy hill and you're doing that, then your hands can't stay up. It's going to fall down. So she could be telling the truth there. But again, Summer didn't move. That meant the car wasn't moving when they took that photograph. Number two, in the background, the car would be blurry. The background would be blurry. Because you're concentrating on Summer, then it wouldn't take a photograph of the background because it's moving. That's why it's called a still, right? Just saying. But my thing is, if it was a kidnapping like they're so sure of, the opportunist would have been the paedophile that talked to my friend said, no, the boys would have been the target. Especially if it's America, you wouldn't go on a property with adults unless they were in a deep sleep or you knew. So say they're saying it was someone that knew her and someone that knew the dogs. Then you would have to wait until the parents were in a deep sleep because you knew they were going to get drunk and stoned and you knew they were going to be in a deep sleep. And you would have to know that the grandmother couldn't hear you. And if they were trying to break in through the back door or the front door, the grandmother would hear. Right? So you'd have to be sure that the grandmother was deaf. She couldn't hear you, so she wouldn't shoot you. Because he had a gun on the property, whoever knew him knew that he had a gun. Right? There's no way, it's impossible for a paedophile to try and get in to steal them children while the adults were there. And even if they were drunk, they knew, the paedophile knew that the parents get drunk and stuff. You still had the grandmother in there and the brothers and that could wake up and start screaming. And they would still jump up, even in a deep sleep, and shoot, right? So this is why I think the police are saying there's no chance. There's no chance she was taken. No chance. Because they would have gone for the boys. What do you think? Comment down below and let me know. What do you think? Do you think that if it was a person who was going to kidnap, they would have waited till Candice left with Summer and the mother and then gone straight in and took the boys? Because according to Candice, they were cleaning. According to Candice again, they were watching TV and asleep. Still puts them at the house. The father Don said they weren't with me at work. It was too dangerous. And Candice weren't going to clean up, was she? Then also she said that Summer was a tomboy and that's why she had her head shaved. And yet, 2 weeks previously, they brought her all this headgear and stuff. And it would have been, right, you're not wearing your headgear anymore and we're going to shave your head for punishment. Which people have said they've seen. And they phoned CPS so many times. Sorry, CPS, you were late again. As usual. But don't feel sorry. You should have phoned the police, to be fair. But don't, listen, you couldn't help it. You did your best. So all yous out there who say, I could have done more, you couldn't. You did your best. You phoned the right, correct people. You did your best. Okay? Just know that at least you tried. You tried your best. So this is Mystery Angels. If you like this channel, please subscribe, share and like. If you don't like, press don't like. That's fine. If you don't want to be part of this channel, then just don't comment and go away. And if you want to be one of the 7 angels, you want to join and you want to start this group up and you want to be a part of this, whether you want to be part of the team or you want to be part of this channel, or you want to be a director or anything else, comment down below, let me know. I'm going to get eventually a Twitter account and stuff sorted out for this channel, but you can still go on Chip and Guardians Adventures, go on that Twitter account and leave your details there, or you can DM me or email me. Okay? I hope you're all safe. Please look at your families and say you love them every day. Don't finish on an argument. Okay? Try not to. I know it's hard, but try not to. And stay safe. And let's all hope that the more and more people talk about Summer, the more and more she's never going to be forgotten. And neither are the other children and other adults that go missing. Hopefully justice will be done soon. Catching a wild crocodile. Stay safe.